So here's our Hyundai 210 excavator. We're not going to go to the AM/FM radio. This is a 24 volt machine, not an option. There is a fuse panel on the back side of this that has 2 banks of fuses, but everything's exposed and we don't want to just use an add a fuse, and there's no access to wiring. So we pulled some panels open. Yes, you get 12 volts when you turn the key on. We've checked all these accessory switch plugs. No, we don't have anything constant. We've gone down even further, and guess what? Here's a panel with the key switch. There's another panel with a cigarette lighter, but there's nothing in there we can use. So you take the screw out of the drink holder, then this whole assembly comes out. There's some holes on the side covered by these plastic discs. You pull the discs out, 3 Phillips head screws come out. Once you get into the back of that, guess what? There's a key switch right there. Here's a plug, and we're going to posi tap off the back. White is constant 24, red is switch 24. Black is starter, so don't be a smart ass and trying to hook up your ground to that. Self tap a ground in the metal and you'll be fine. We're going to actually place the box underneath inside of here. It'll get a good GPS signal. This is a glass cab. And that's pretty much it. We're going to put it all back together. We've already tested everything, metered everything out, and it's important to make sure you check your connections using a good ground. Again, it's a 24 volt machine, but it also has 12 volts. Remember, on 24 volt machines, you cannot mix 12 and 24 volts. It has to be 24 volt constant with 24 switched, or 12 volt constant with 12 volt switched. And we don't want to go to any of these pretty control panels because you don't want to interfere with anything that could be safety or engine related or performance related on this. It costs about $600 an hour to get somebody to come out and work on one of these machines. I don't want to pay that bill. That's why we're doing a video. So again, back to basics. Key switch. White is hot. Red is ignition. Self tap a ground. We're going to hide the box in here. We're going to strap it into place. Once we're all done with this, it'll work out just fine. This panel will close, and we're going to put all the stuff back. Nothing to be had at these switches. We've checked everything already. Cigarette lighter is not constant. A lot of work to get that radio out. Plus, these radios seem to die and have their own problems all the time. So, you know, why put this thing in and have to keep revisiting it because of a bad AM/FM radio? So there you go. There's your Hyundai 210 excavator. Enjoy, everybody. So here we are, we're doing, this is a Hyundai / Robex 210 W9 Alpha, Whiskey 9 Alpha, whatever you want to call it. Now, you don't have to do the operator's cab. One way to do this is if you look behind here, there is a huge fuse panel, and you undo these 3 screws. Note there's also a master switch in here. So you need to take that into consideration when you're doing tracking, especially if the machine is going to be on a job site. Ask the customer, do your guys use the master switch? Right now, I is set for on, it's in line, O is O for off. So it's in line, but you pull this off, and look what we have. We've got all these mini fuses. This is all 24 volt stuff. The legend is actually here on this decal that's on the lid. So if you want to use Frank taps, fuse taps, whatever the hell you add a fuse, whatever you want to call them, you're more than welcome to use that. But the thing you need to be careful of is you're going to have an opening at the bottom. So you may want to cut out a tiny little notch, say here at the bottom. This is pretty much water resistant. So you put a little notch on the bottom, put some sealant on it, keep all your stuff inside. Put this back together, and you can actually go up on top and run your cabling up and put the device on top if that's the way you want to do it. We usually prefer to take the extra time, put it inside of the operator's cab. This way it's protected by the weather, less likely to get damaged on a machine like this. And on top of that too, it works good. And if the bad guys steal it, they're not going to pull the operator's cab apart. They're going to look for the easy stuff first, like this. So, but again, it's just one other option if for some reason you don't have good access to the machine. And again, it's a 24 volt machine, so you have to remember 24 volt for constant. You have to use 24 volt for ignition. You cannot mix and match voltages on most of the equipment that's out there today. Make sure these are tight. That's pretty much good to go. Make sure there's no wiring that's getting caught. You can actually run up from here, maybe along this hydraulic hose and up to the top if that's how you want to do it. But again, that's just a second method for doing a machine like this. There's a lot of other excavators and heavy equipment that have the same thing. It'll have the fuse box in the back like this, or an electrical panel. Sometimes you'll need to use a set of, they have 1/2-inch bolts holding panels in. You may have to access those. But again, just another mousetrap to use at the end of the day. Enjoy.